My first guest, real interesting guy, man. He hosts and is the star of a real successful show on the Discovery Channel about cars, man, which is, being a kid from Jersey, I can't get enough cars. I've seen a bit of this. He's got a cool crew with him, and he's definitely the boss, and is entertaining at doing it. Richard Rawlings is here. What's up, man?
Wow. What's happening, man?
How are you? So you're from Dallas.
Yes, sir.
So when do you start this? I tell you, like that's the thing about being a guy that, you know, I think it's gotten worse over the years because I think cars have gotten less cool. You know what I mean? Like a Jaguar looks like a Ford nowadays to me. I think Ford makes Jaguars. But back in the 70s and 60s, I mean, like, you know, when did you really get a love of cars? Like a Chevelle in '72. Like, there's nothing like that anymore. Like even the cheap cars back then. When'd you really start getting into it?
Well, I tell you, I've been into it all my life. I mean, I grew up, if you would, on the wrong side of the tracks, and my dad always worked, you know, 2 and 3 jobs just to make sure we were all taken care of. But he always kind of squirreled away a little bit of money, so he always had a little motorcycle or a hot rod or something. It wasn't the best on the block. It wasn't, you know, the fanciest or the best one, but it was his, and you could see it in his eye. And I guess that's where I got it. You know, I'd be 5 and 6 and 7 years old, out there wiping off the bumper or helping him clean the wheel or whatever. So I just have always had an affinity for that. Was, to me, it's your independence. It's that's you can get on it or in it and get
it
on.
It's like growing up, getting out, seeing the world. My old man was the same way. He didn't make a lot of money at all, but he would save up to buy motorcycles. He actually crashed a Harley Sportster, which my mother put an end to that after that. But he loved cars and would put away money to get like a new car.
Yeah, my dad too.
And again, I think especially in America, it's part of growing up and being a man. What was your first car?
My first car, I flipped a bunch of cars before I was even old enough to drive. But what I
really,
yeah, I really did. But I consider my first car a '74 Mercury Comet. It was like puke green.
Wow.
It was horrible. It had green interior. But I made it my own. I put a little stereo in it, you know, some custom wheels. And, you know, I always told my dad when I grew up, when we were young, or when I was young, and I would say, Dad, I'm going to get me this car, and I'm going to put some mags on it and a racing stripe, and it's going to be really cool. And that's pretty much what I did with my Comet.
Yeah, well, my first car was the same year. I had a '74 AMC Matador.
Holy cow, there's no way to make that cool.
No, I know, dark blue. It had a 305 V8 in it. It didn't move, but yeah, it was a
305.
Yeah, a big, just monster-looking car with bumpers like this. I grew up 10 miles from New York City, so I would drive into New York and park with those things. It was like a tank.
Yeah, I know. That was like 3 gallons worth of gas.
It was terrible, but you know, I do neutral drops with it, you know, and it was just fun. So how old were you when you started learning how to build a car and rebuild a car?
Well, I tell you, I understand how to build cars and all about building them. But if you watch the show, I'm not the builder. I'm not the fabricator.
But you're the creative force behind it.
A little bit.
I've seen some of it, and you tell guys, look, it should be like this, it should be like that. And I love the fact that before you give it to a customer, it's got to pass your test. And that's a difficult thing. Like, I've seen you tell them, look, it's not ready. You know?
Yeah, I do. I have an idea in my head when I get a car. I kind of evaluate real quickly. Does this car need to be restored? Does it need to be customized? Does it need hot rodded?
Right.
You know, what's going to, you know, my theory is really easy. I sit back and drink a beer and kind of look at the car for a few minutes. And then
it works.
All right, cool. This is what the car tells me. But at the end of the day, we pick that path, we stick to it, and I try not to let it ever fail.
So you're kind of like the architect, and you tell the guys what to do, they go out, and hopefully they get your vision, and then you tell them if it's good or not. And
well, wait a second, I'm getting a phone call.
There you go. Maybe that's some of the guys working on a '71 Chevelle.
Now let me turn that off for you.
No, so and when you start making it a business, see, that's the smart move. Like a lot of kids, I knew a lot of gearhead, motorhead guys growing up, and they were great with cars, but they couldn't turn it into a business, and they always wanted to. Like, when'd you do that?
Well, I was a late bloomer in the car business. I was actually a police officer, firefighter, and paramedic before I was old enough to drink.
No kidding.
Before I was 21.
Wow.
My dad taught me, get a good job. You don't have to have 3 jobs like I do. And get your gold watch, get your pension, and go away. And
benefits and all that. Yeah.
And I did all that. And it's one of the only times I ever saw my dad cry. When I left the fire department, he thought I'd thrown my life away. But I just kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And moved into a couple of different things, and ended up that cars and motorcycles are my passion. And, you know, he also told me, you know, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And
True.
So here's me not working.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, so how long before it's like a successful thing?
Well, I, what is today, the 4th or so of March? I'm an 11 and a half year overnight success.
Wow. Well, listen, sometimes, but you should be proud of that. You're working your ass off.
It was a long haul, and, our goal was to establish Gas Monkey as a good brand and a family brand across the board. We're a little irreverent every once in a while. We have a little bit of fun.
No, the show's got an edge. It's good, yeah.
My deal is I want kids to get off their computers, get out in the garage, take your dad's lawnmower
apart, message.
What have you, do something. Computers and all that stuff, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's part of our life now. So let's worry about, the cool stuff that we've missed up.
So go ahead, John.
Well, I saw that you had like a marketing company or something, an agency before you had started this. Like you were really trying everything.
Yeah, I really was. I had a printing and advertising company that I was fortunate enough to get started in printing after I left the civil service, and did really, really well.
And you sold that.
I sold it. Went from firefighting to that to then the car. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I sold it, and just very lucky. I had just enough seed money. It wasn't a gigantic amount of money, but it was enough for me to jump in.
So that helped you with the
exactly. And then
now you know the marketing end of a business, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then I went broke twice. Totally zeroed out. Lost a beautiful woman and the love of my life. And she went on to other pastures and zeroed out. But I never lost sight of the dream of Gas Monkey being something and being able to teach kids and help families be together. And one of the best things that I love the most about what I do is I get so many emails from moms and dads and grandmas and what have you that, oh my gosh, everybody gets to the TV, they watch this and what have you. And it's cool because we're bringing families together. It's a little edgy. But,
it is,
but it's cool enough that everybody watches it, from 3 to 300.
Well, let's take a quick break because I want to have a couple of more longer seconds. But I want to ask you specifically what you do. I want to ask you about my second car and what you would have done to it. I'm real curious because it was a passion of mine. And if I had more money, I would have done something with it. But we're going to take a break. We'll come back with more Richard Rawlings right after this.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.